from the Hussman School of Journalism and Media at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, covering the full range of Tar Heel athletics. This is Sports Extra.
North Carolina is ranked ahead of Alabama in college football. Who would have figured that? Welcome to Sports Extra. I'm Jay Banzette.
And I'm Bella Geskos. Jay, the Heels are in the top 10 and still undefeated. Thanks for joining us. The Tar Heels stormed to 6-0 against the Hurricanes, and the U went down on Saturday. Fans were excited to see Tez Walker, and he did not disappoint as he opened the scoring with this crossing route. Not to be outdone, Omarion Hampton tumbles into the end zone for the Tar Heels' second score to tie the game at 14. Tez opened the second half by tracking down this bomb from Drake May for 56 yards and the touchdown. He would go on for the hat trick by hauling in a pass for his third touchdown. He was undoubtedly the star of the show. Hampton helped the Heels pull away with this red zone touchdown catch from May to put the Heels up big. The Heels finished the game 41-31.
Just hadn't walked the barrier. It did my part. High motor flying out of the field, taking the top off on the defense. So he really has been like a help to us. Even like when he wasn't eligible in play, just giving us the best looks on scout team. Like, wow, I'm glad he's not a scout team. I'm glad he's doing another side.
Before we get into route with Rachel Kivlin, Rachel, I want to relive that amazing Tar Heel win. You down to break it down?
Oh, I am down to break it down. Bella, the Heels found the eye of the Hurricane Saturday, but they rode out the storm to get to, for the sixth time in school history, 6-0. In his first fully integrated game since being granted eligibility, Tez Walker had a monstrous performance. He wasn't just prolific as a receiver, but we saw some great runs. Check it out. You're going to see May fake the handoff here. It's a reverse. You're going to see him run, power through those chains. Super easy, but I want to take a look at exactly how that happened. I want you to keep an eye on John Copenhaver over here. He's going to run that exact same route as Tez. He's going to push out those tackles to the side, make it super easy for him to go boom, gets it in. Really, you can see the offense working as a unit together, pulling it in to get it together. Even though Drake May wasn't playing at his best early on, going 8 for 19 in the first half, Tez capitalized on every opportunity. And speaking of success against the U defense, Omarion Hampton went off against the Hurricanes, now third in the ACC in total rush yards. He had a pair of touchdowns. And look at the play design on this one here. You're going to see May start with that reverse, getting that U defense a little bit confused as Omarion gets it in. But again, I just want to see how that happened here. Again, we're going to be looking at Copenhaver here in a second, and he's going to be protecting this edge right here against the defense. He's going to clear the way against this edge, clear it out so that Hampton gets through. Watch this protection against the defense. Boom. Hampton gets it in. Easy touchdown. I said in my preview that the team that wins the turnover and penalty battle will win the game, but it still definitely seemed like a mistake off in the third with flag after flag flying. Though the Heels racked up 14 penalties for 147 yards, the Hurricanes lost the turnover battle 4-0, and that was the determining factor. This game was an example of growth for Carolina. In the past, we've seen a lack of discipline. We've seen them go down when May isn't firing on all cylinders, but they overcame all of that Saturday night for a win against a ranked opponent.
Rachel, you mentioned the Heels' problems with penalties. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, it was definitely not the cleanest performance for Carolina. You know, maybe a case of nerves in the biggest game thus far in a packed stadium at home, but regardless, the Heels cannot continue to be that sloppy in order to have success.
Thanks, Rachel. One win Virginia comes to Keenan on Saturday.
On Friday, the men's and women's basketball teams shared the Dean Dome to kick off their seasons at the annual live-action event with Hubert Davis and Courtney Banghart. Both teams divided for a 4-quarter scrimmage, showing off their new rosters for the roaring crowd. In the women's game, India Navar and Maria Gakdang stood out on the scoreboard with a hot streak by Gakdang in the third quarter. On the men's side, freshman point guard Elliot Kido led with 10 consecutive points in the last 2 minutes of the game and 2 shots at the top of the key. You'll see the 3-ball right there. Freshman forward Zayden Hyde kept competition high with his consistent rebounding. Also at the event, Hubert Davis shared his optimism for his team's genuine chemistry translating to on-the-court success. And past national champions, new recruits, and eager fans all cheered in Carolina blue, ready for the season ahead. Carolina field hockey and football rarely disappoint, and the Heels had an important conference matchup on Friday at Syracuse. The Heels started the scoring off with a rocket shot from Charlie Bruder off of this penalty corner. What power. Next, we see Sanahawk deliver this precise penalty stroke for the score on the left side of the goal, put the Heels up 2-0. Here's a fancy goal from sophomore Riley Heck. She takes the pass, splits some orange defenders before nailing this shot as the Heels pull further away from 13th ranked Syracuse. And watch on this replay, she perfectly splits the goalie's legs for this 6-shot, 5-hole, put the Heels in the lead again. And wait, we got one more. See Katie Dixon athletically lunge for the final score that clinched a commanding 4-1 win for the traveling Tar Heels. The Heels stayed in New York to face Albany on Sunday. Carolina started off slow, but after 15 minutes, Sanahawk again was able to find the back of the box off a penalty stroke. After 2 Albany goals, Peyton Worth was able to even the score from a rebound off of the goalie. And then just 2 minutes later, Kirsten Tomasi had a direct shot from the middle of the circle with only 3 minutes remaining. Riley Heck again put the Heels on top with a goal that bounced right over the goalie to give the Heels a 4-3 lead. Carolina will take on number 7 Virginia on Friday. Carolina has a variety of sports teams that have great skill, are ranked high in the country, and compete in national championships. Sophia Pedroso tells us some of these teams are unknown to most sports, and club handball is one of them.
Last season, club handball battled their way to nationals. Although they lost in the final, they enter this season ranked second in the country. In the past, handball Olympians have found their start in the Carolina blue jersey. 2 current Tar Heels are USA players. However, beyond just skill in the sport, there are a variety of incredibly notable players. One of which is Malachi Jowers, the current president of club handball. His life on the court is only emphasized by his life off. Outside of handball, Malachi's life is centered around one building far down on South Campus, the dental school. From 8 to 1:30, he's in class.
Then after that, we have handball practice, starts at 4:45. Classes for me at 5, so I'm getting there a bit later, kind of hitting the ground running with that.
Although on his busiest days he doesn't get home until 11, Malachi is always happy to find time for handball. Handball is not only a place of athletics for Malachi, but a place where he has found a family, surrounded by close friends who share both his passions and spirit, and competing in a game that he loves. Malachi gets to one of the best parts of his day.
I love handball so much because basically this has become like my family. Like all these guys here, I hang out with them all the time. I study with them, I work out with them, I play handball with them, of course. Every travel tournament is always so much fun. We're building new memories, and it's a way for me to also stay active and just like do it in a fun way.
One thing for sure is that all eyes should be turned toward the handball team for their upcoming season. This is Sophia Pedroso reporting.
Club handball opened the season with a successful weekend at a JMU tournament with a developmental team winning 3rd place.
How does that Hannah Montana song go again? Everybody makes mistakes, right? Well, the UNC women's soccer team can't seem to learn from them after drawing against Wake Forest Friday night. After a scoreless first half with opportunities UNC could not capitalize on, the Tar Heels got on the board first off an Ali Sentinor corner kick that found Emily Moxley, who with great vision found Avery Patterson, giving her her 5th goal of the season. In the 78th minute, an all too familiar name to UNC fans, now Wake Forest's Emily Murphy found the back of the net to give the Deacons the equalizer. UNC's unexplainable failure to close out games has led to back-to-back draws and their 6th draw of the season. The Heels now sit at 9-0-6 with 3 regular season games left. To look at one of the key players for Carolina in a matchup against Wake Forest, let's go to soccer analyst Caroline Daly for Soccer on the Daily. Caroline? Bella, although the Heels tied 1-1 with Wake Forest on Friday, there's no doubt that UNC has a deep roster with phenomenal players both offensively and defensively. Avery Patterson was, of course, a difference maker in the matchup against the Demon Deacons. Patterson is now tied with Allie Sentnor for the team lead with 5 goals. Patterson scored the Heels' only goal against Wake in the 59th minute. Allie Sentnor sent a corner kick to Emily Moxley, who passes the ball to Patterson inside the box after weaving through her defenders. Patterson is going to win this 1v1 battle with Wake's goalkeeper, sending a left-footed shot into the back of the net. Patterson is always aggressive, and she's not afraid to be in high-pressure situations. She's also stepped up in some other big matchups. Against 12th-ranked Alabama, Patterson gave UNC the lead when she takes this nearly 80-yard run down the field, separating from her defender. And she fires off a left-footed shot that goes into the post for a goal. Like the Wake Forest game, there were plenty of shots early on in this game, but Patterson was the only one to get it done for the Heels. In the game against 10th-ranked South Carolina, Patterson put the Heels on the board early in the first 5 minutes of the matchup. Maddie Darlene showcased her stellar footwork to weave around her defenders, and she's going to send a cross from the right side to Patterson inside the box, and Patterson is going to volley it into the lower left corner for a goal. As you can see, she was close to the goalie again in this game and wasn't afraid to take a shot. I think players like Patterson are going to have to step up in their upcoming matchup against number 11 Notre Dame on Thursday right here at Dorrance Field. Bella? Caroline, the Tar Heels have a program record of 6 draws. Why is that? Bella, I think the Heels keep having draws because they aren't putting points on the board early on in games. But I think Avery Patterson can help them do that against Notre Dame. Let's hope the Heels come out with a win on Thursday. Thanks, Caroline.
Men's soccer faced a stiff test Friday night, traveling to battle number 4, Wake Forest. After a scoreless first half, the boys in blue displayed a level of intensity resembling what happened in their thrashing of Florida Gulf Coast earlier in the week. That rising momentum was later foiled by a counterattack by Wake, or the driven cross calmly finished off in the 6-yard box. It was an all-out effort for the Heels in the final 10 minutes with a few chances in the box, inducing some pleas for some foul calls from the officials, but Carolina falls 1-0 to the Deacs. The Heels are hoping to bounce back against William & Mary at home tomorrow night. It looks like we used all our offensive firepower on Saturday on the football field and not on the soccer pitch. Let's go to Caroline's Corner with men's soccer analyst Caroline Routh. Caroline?
Jay, what this match came down to is simple. It was a battle of the keepers. In this first play, we'll see Wake Forest pass around the offensive third before firing off a shot from just outside the box, as you'll see right here. Andrew Cortez jumps up, knocks the ball away, and that was one of Cortez's 6 saves of the night, a career high for him. Now let's switch it over to the Demon Deacons defense and see how Trace Alphin stepped up against the Heels. Right here, you'll see UNC takes the ball down, fires off a shot, and Alphin has a diving save. He puts his whole body out there and gets his hand on it to tip the ball out of bounds and stop the Heels from getting on the board. Alphin had another big save on this Carolina corner. Charlie Harper is about to get his head on the ball right here. Now Alphin, he's got to be ready for anything. Harper can go low with it, he can go high, he can go all the way across the cage, but what does he do? Well, he fires a bounce shot fall, where Alphin knocks the ball away, and with that punch, Wake keeps the clean sheet. Now, let's see how Wake manages to get past Cortez. Right here, number 8, Babacar Niang, he draws the ball to the right, making Cortez pitch over to the side to limit Niang's angle. Then what does he do? Well, he fires a cross off, and while Cortez is out of position, we see right here Wake Forest is going to fire the shot into the goal, getting the only goal of the match. This was a competitive showing for the Heels, but against a talented team like Wake Forest, you just can't slip up. The defense did, and Wake got the victory. Jay?
Caroline, Cortez seemed to have a very strong showing. Why wasn't it enough to get it done for the Heels?
Well, Jay, Wake was able to weave around the defense with their tight passes. Cortez needs the support of the defense to keep the opponents out.
You're definitely right about Cortez. He's a keeper, pun intended. Thanks, Caroline.
The volleyball team was looking to stop a losing streak against Syracuse on Friday night. Mabry Schaffmaster was back and better than ever with 17 kills and 1 ace. Alongside her, freshman Safi Hampton had a few aces and 12 kills of her own. The Heels out-hit the Orange, ending the match with 43 kills. Carson Overbeck had a career best of 4 aces. Carolina was able to sweep the Orange 3-0. Sunday's opponent was Boston College. The Tar Heels were strong from both the service line and at the net with 8 aces and 44 kills against the Eagles. Opposite, Maria Miggins and middle Sydney Nolan were on fire as they had a huge block denying Boston College outside Jenna Pollock's attack. The Tar Heels dominated in the second set, allowing BC to only score 14 points. Freshman Safi Hampton helped shift the momentum of the game with a huge kill from outside to an open backcourt and an ace for the following point. Mabry Schaffmaster led the Heels with a game high of 12 kills. Schaffmaster was explosive in her serves and aced the Eagles 3 times. The Tar Heels swept BC 3 sets to none and will travel to play Clemson on Friday. After a great 2023 drafting season, a new crop of Tar Heel baseball players are trying to make it to the major leagues. Reporter Samantha Rubin spoke with outfielder Casey Cook about baseball's intense demands on players' time and energy.
It's easier to get struck by lightning than to make it as a Major League Baseball player. Even at UNC, a school with 12 ACC titles and the best overall in-state program, the chances of making it to the big leagues are still slim. Nevertheless, sophomore Casey Cook from Chantilly, Virginia, is chasing this elusive dream.
Playing baseball here, it's a full-time commitment, so you have to make some sacrifices. You're not really doing what the everyday normal college student's doing and having the freedom to do whatever you want. Obviously, you gotta make some sacrifices to take care of your body because it's a long season. It's a lot of stuff to do. Time management's big because if you are pushing something off and you're trying to play a game, knowing you got to do some schoolwork, it just doesn't mix well. You know, when you're doing this, you're obviously playing all the time, and then you're playing summer ball, and even in the off season you're still playing games, so it's really hard on your body. And I think what allows you to keep doing it is just your love for the game. Like, it sounds cliche, but seriously, it's hard on your body. So if you don't love what you're doing, you're not gonna want to do it every single day. It is a quick turnaround. I've never experienced summer ball. This is my first season of summer ball, so yeah, we're totally invested in our season, and then we lose and you don't really have any time to think. You just get on your way to wherever you're playing summer ball. So I think there was a 1 week span in between, and I remember it feeling so weird because you feel like there should be a break because you just played a full season and you just go straight to another one. You know, I want to be out here every single day, no matter how hard it is. It's the best thing to do. So I think that's what keeps you going. And I feel like if I ever lose that drive to play, then I don't know if I could ever handle it.
This is Samantha Rubin reporting.
The Heels' next game is against Liberty on Friday at 6 p.m. The Diamond Heels had a 10.5-inning inter-squad scrimmage on Friday at the Bosch. Vance Honeycutt was 3 for 4 with an RBI and 2 runs scored, while Parks Harbor was 3 for 4 with 2 RBIs. Casey Cook also had 2 RBIs. Parker Haskins notched 3 RBIs and 2 runs scored. Alberto Osuna had 2 RBIs and 2 runs scored to lead Navy, but Blue took the win against Navy 9-5. After a forced cancellation to the Friday's game, Carolina softball completed the fall schedule on Sunday with a doubleheader against Lewisburg and Catawba College. In Game 1, right-handed pitcher Britton Rogers brought the heat, holding Lewisburg to 0 runs through 6 innings. After closing the second inning, leaving bases loaded, Abby Settlemeyer wasn't going to let that opportunity go to waste again. In the fourth, with 2 outs, she sends this drive up the middle to put the Heels up by 2, sparking the offense. The Heels were able to silence Lewisburg's bats in a shutout win, 10-0. In Game 2 was against Catawba. The Heels dominated with an impressive 11-0 finish, led by Autumn Owens with 2 home runs, one of them a grand slam. Charlie Myrtle was also cleared one over the fence, and the Heels' defense was stellar. Kenna Ray Dark was in the game from most of the pitching for the Tar Heels, and Carolina was aggressive with lots of stolen bases. There's clearly much to look forward to in the spring with lots of promise out of this UNC softball team.
The men's lacrosse team hosted the annual Michael R. Bresci Scholarship Game yesterday against the Ohio State Buckeyes. The Heels quickly got themselves on the board with freshman standout Owen Duffy's turn around the crease to find the back of the net. You'll see him cross crease right there finish. Logan McGovern was strong on the attacking side all game with multiple goals, like this catch right outside of the circle to give the Tar Heels yet another goal. The Heels were leading going into the third quarter, but seemed to struggle more defensively, giving up some goals to the Buckeyes. Coming back strong in the fourth, the Tar Heels finished the game on top, winning 13-10. That scrimmage between UNC and Ohio State meant a lot more than what was on the scoreboard. Brendan Lunga has the story.
On the turf of Finley Fields, Sunday morning appeared to be a typical fall scrimmage between two storied lacrosse programs. While the Tar Heels came out on top, the score didn't matter. The match was the annual Michael R. Bresci Scholarship Game that takes place between UNC and Ohio State every fall. It's in honor of Michael R. Bresci, the eldest child of Carolina head coach Joe Bresci, who passed away in 2004. For Bresci, the game means everything for him and his family.
It's so much more than lacrosse. It's family. It's really people taking a step back and taking inventory of their lives and understanding what's most important.
After the scrimmage, UNC and Ohio State came together for a celebratory lunch, and Buckeye graduate captain Jacob Snyder was honored with the Michael R. Bresci Memorial Scholarship. It was founded after Bresci's passing and is given annually to an Ohio State player who most exemplifies Michael's spirit.
Jake Snyder is an incredible Buckeye, and I think will do an amazing job representing the spirit of the award. As I said earlier, it's a great fraternity of Buckeyes. It's a very special honor. And Jake, he's a we not me kind of guy.
Coach Bresci's relationship with Ohio State goes all the way back to 1998 when he was hired as the head coach of the Buckeyes. He created the scholarship during his tenure in Columbus, and Nick Myers kept it going when Bresci, who Myers calls his father figure, left for Chapel Hill in 2008. Having these two schools come together in honor of Michael makes it all the more significant for Coach Bresci.
Near and dear to my heart are two programs, and that's the University of North Carolina and the Ohio State University. Spending 11 years there and now my 16th season here, so it's really special to be a part of this event.
All proceeds from the day went toward the scholarship fund, and anybody can donate on the foundation's website. I'm Brendan Lunga reporting.
It's really great to see two programs come together for such a great cause. Carolina Ice Hockey faced UNCW twice this weekend, hoping to keep the unbeaten streak alive. The Tar Heels had a rough start on Friday night. They gave up 3 goals before junior Tommy Gilligan got close enough to slide the puck into the net from the center of the goal, putting UNC on the board. Despite Carolina's best attempts, including a clean shot here from the left side by sophomore Florian Zaich, the Tar Heels couldn't keep up and ultimately lost 7-4, breaking their undefeated streak. However, they came back aggressively on Saturday night, having learned from their loss, and beat the Seahawks 5-2. Both the men's and women's cross-country teams competed in the Nutty Comb Invitational on Friday afternoon. Parker Wolf and Alex Phillip led the Tar Heel men's team with top 15 finishes, which helped the men to a 10th place overall finish. On the women's side, the team finished 22nd. Carolina will compete in the 2023 ACC Championships on October 27th in warm and sunny Tallahassee, Florida.
Aman Patel now introduces us to a local rising star in a sport that has far wider following in the United States than you might expect.
Cricket. You might be surprised to learn that cricket's been in the country since before the independence of the nation. George Washington played cricket, and the first international match was a match between USA and Canada. And while the president isn't playing cricket today, a local North Carolina kid is looking to play it at the highest level.
Meet Utkarsh Srivastava, a 16-year-old who's already made a name for himself, leading the USA Under-19 team to its first World Cup in 13 years.
No one expected us to go through. We went pretty crazy.
Srivastava's journey dates all the way back to when he picked up the game in India, but it didn't take long for him to find the sport once he moved to North Carolina in 2016.
My brother was really into cricket, so he was trying to find opportunities where he could play cricket. Figured out Triangle Cricket League. They also registered me.
And it took even less time for him to get noticed by people in the area.
He's been on the lips of everybody who's talking about youth cricket in Morrisville for a few years now.
But North Carolina has become a home for cricketers beyond Utkarsh in the United States. And it all started with the match in 2018 where the USA beat Canada.
I don't think you can overstate the impact that made to our youth here.
As youths, we became a little bit different about cricket. We became much more passionate.
2018 was a turning point. There was a change in the cricketing governing body in the country, and with that, the addition of a new domestic tournament. By 2020, American Cricket Enterprise launched minor league cricket and rolled out a plan for Major League Cricket as well.
Minor league cricket is our domestic structure here. Because it enforces 2 U21 players to be in every playing 11, that enables these younger guys to get chances with the best in the country.
In 2023, Major League Cricket launched, and year one was a success. The majority matches were sold out, playing in 2 different venues, including Church Street Park in Morrisville, North Carolina. And it wasn't just a success for the league. Standout domestic players like Nastia Skinjige and Sarbnata Volker have both been picked up for other leagues around the world. This leads young and up-and-coming players to believe that they could be next.
It's the gold at the end of the rainbow that Major League Cricket is. It gives the motivation for everybody that, hey, you know, I can become a professional cricketer.
After qualifying for the Under-19 World Cup, Srivastava made his minor league debut, hitting shots like this to reaffirm what many thought about it. Sanjay Stanley, former Under-19 vice captain and Srivastava's mentor, sees only the bright lights ahead.
I definitely see him playing at least 100 ODIs for USA, captaining one day, and then playing in most leagues around the world.
Srivastava has no questions about what he wants his legacy to be.
As a kid who came from North Carolina and ended up playing USA national team.
And he's close to realizing that dream. I'm Om Patel, reporting.
Shots like that, more like shots like this. Our very own Aman Patel. Look at that form and look at this face of concentration.
He's got it all going for him. And Bella, we had 2 contenders for Play of the Week this week. The choices are between the number 10 Carolina football team and the UNC volleyball team. Tez Walker is back. You'll see on this 56-yard touchdown against Miami, gets behind the defense for his second career touchdown for Carolina, securing the win against the Canes. And then Bella, volleyball, this is a pat, set, spike against Boston College. BC really never had a chance to defend this one.
No, look at that. That was insane. That was an insane hit. But Jay, we got to switch back to football. We're top 10. What are the odds we can get to top 8, maybe a little higher than that?
I don't want to jinx anything, Bella. I grew up in Carolina, was an 8-4 program at best, and I saw us in front of Alabama in the poll yesterday, and my brother's a sophomore at Alabama, and I let him hear all about it, so I'm not going to jinx anything, but we got a good path. We got 2 very easy opponents coming up compared to who we've been playing, so should be a good stretch.
I'm excited.
That does it for this edition of Sports Extra. We'll be back after fall break with all the highlights from yet another exciting weekend of Carolina athletics.